We're in a pretty amazing place right now looking back at music history. I mean, we're standing on the edge of thousands of years of musical evolution. Right back from when cavemen were making music out of animal bones and pieces of wood, to now, where literally millions of people can just sit in their bedrooms and make whatever kind of music they want. Music has been a soundtrack to cultures and communities and religions throughout pretty much the course of all time. So you can see it's not just something that's kind of nice to listen to, it can actually affect the way people live. Have you ever heard someone say, "Oh my god, that song has changed my life"? You know, music can be that thing that unites people. Ever since Facebook, Twitter and obviously YouTube have come around, it's so much easier to connect with other people that like the same kind of music as us. You know, I grew up going to music festivals and you could be stood there in a crowd with like thousands of people from different countries and religions and backgrounds, and you know, when you're watching a band, none of that matters because it's music that speaks to you. That is a picture of me from a few years ago now when I was at Reading Festival. If you think about it, pretty much every moment of our lives is soundtracked by music in some kind of way. Films and games would be nowhere near as good without music in the background. And adverts, they use music to make us feel something, and they want us to buy into whatever this company's selling. Think about how crazy people get over the John Lewis Christmas advert. And talking of Christmas, what would Christmas be without all the cheesy songs and carols that we hear pretty much every time we move? But even at the Olympics, we've got national anthems being sung. And if you're into football, each team's got their own chants that they sing during the games. Can't really repeat a lot of them on here because they're kind of X-rated. Funnily enough, a lot of these football songs are taken from like classical songs and hymns, which is a bit weird considering you wouldn't really associate football fans with being into like classical things like opera. So Chelsea's song for their ex-manager goes a bit like this. Now, this is how it's supposed to sound, sung by one of the most famous tenors of all time, Luciano Pavarotti. Cheers, Pav. When we sing or play an instrument, we're using our bodies to make the sound. We're thinking the same way that people did hundreds of years before us. It makes it a lot more personal. It's strange to think that if we perform a really early piece of music, there could be someone the same age as us like 500, 600 years ago that feeling exactly the same emotions. Except they probably wouldn't have vlogged about it afterwards. So in the 21st century we've got iTunes and Spotify, and we can access pretty much any music that has ever been written. So I can have like the entirety of musical history just like on my phone. Before we could record music, people were pretty limited to what they could listen to. I mean, if you wanted to hear your favourite piece or your favourite composer, you'd have to travel literally hundreds of miles to get there. This actually genuinely happened to the composer J.S. Bach. He had to walk 213 miles to watch his favourite organ player. He watched the gig, chilled out afterwards, and then he walked all the way back home again. That is literally about 500 miles. To be fair, dedication. Now all we need to do is get on our phones and get online, and there's no boundaries in what we can listen to. You know, it's only really in the last 15-20 years that we've had the internet to be able to pick and choose what kind of music we want to listen to and make playlists of our favourite songs. It's kind of like all you can eat, but with music. If you want some R&B, you can get it and put it on your plate. If you want some a cappella, then yeah, why not, put it on. If you want some Mongolian throat singing, maybe not. Anyway, this way of listening to music has kind of brought a few issues with it. Now some people argue that by making our own playlists and downloading singles, we're kind of taking away from the traditional form of the album. So you get one of these things with all the song lists in a row, and the order that they go in, it's kind of dying out. Rest in peace to the album. By breaking down these boundaries between style and genre, we're making less of a distinction between when music was written and why it was written. Who cares? You know, just put it on a playlist and we'll listen to it. So in these vlogs I'm going to be going through musical history, looking at composers and asking why did they write these pieces and how they wrote these pieces. Like, how is music physically written down? Like, what is it that makes music on a page? Everything is shaped by history, and the music that we love today has evolved over hundreds of years, with so many exciting and amazing moments along the way. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next episode of Talk the Music. My